Hey friends. Hi there. My name's Dana Marie. I'm coming to you live from a tired place where I don't feel like doing anything, but I know that I have to do stuff. I'm tired. I've been told that I'm tired, and I'm also tired. You know, when you go to a nurse for I went for chemo and they're like, "How are you feeling? How are your side effects? You're tired?" And I was like, "Okay." Clearly, I look sleepy, but that's all part of it. It's so frustrating not um, feeling normal. Is that not? What is normal? I don't even know. But what I do know is everyone knows what it's like to be tired. Yeah, that's what I've learned. So they can relate with you on that. I always try to find things that are relatable to normal people to talk to them about because being chronically ill, it's I feel like an alien a lot of the times, and my concerns are not even a concern for anyone else, but that's fine. um, that's what you get being chronically ill. But yeah, being relatable to other people is what stand-up comedians try to do. Try to make things relatable. And my friend Chris, who I talked to today, is a stand-up comedian, and he makes fun of him living with MS, multiple sclerosis. Um, and while he doesn't have to go to the doctor a lot, which is so great, he was diagnosed. He'll tell you, you know what? I won't even spoil it for you. He's going to tell you all about it. But Chris is awesome. He's a stand up. He's from New Jersey. And he's going to tell you about living with multiple sclerosis. So shut up and listen. Thanks. This is Still Positive. Let's be real. People love to gloss over chronic conditions or disabilities with a fleeting comment like, just be positive, or a fleeting insult like, kale will cure you, as if your life is that easy of a fix. Positivity is not the missing puzzle piece that's going to solve your life's puzzle, but it can be a beautiful tool that can help you grow, and sharing those experiences can make us grow together. Yeah, we met. When did we meet? Maybe 20.
Oh, we met at Rhino,
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
I actually kind of remember that night because I didn't know you, and you went up and you did like your whole routine like about cancer and everything. And I was like, oh,
Yep.
wow. I remember that night too because I had just been. It was slowly after it. Slowly. It was not too long after I got my diagnosis.
Really?
So I remember I was like working out this material about it at the time, and I just remember oh god, this is what I do when I can't remember a word. I just go, sorry, I have MS. I use it as
Yeah.
an excuse a lot.
Yeah.
But the idiosyncrasies, you know what I mean? It just seems like it's just weird how things,
Yeah. Link ups like
I'm
that.
able to remember things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again,
Um.
because I have MS and I'm just a, you know.
Oh yeah. I know that well. You know. But
Oh
so
yeah.
I didn't know that you were diagnosed. So what year were you diagnosed?
Our September 2019.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like right before, well, not right before, but soon before COVID, before the lockdowns and everything. Yeah,
Oh
so
shoot.
I remember it like in that timeline. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so what sort of symptoms were you having that made you go to the doctor?
Well, actually, what happened was I got a very early symptom. What happened was it's a common thing that, at least from what I've been told, my right eye uh, as the days would go on, my vision would get blurrier and blurrier. And the way I always describe it is, you ever look through like a broken kaleidoscope before, by
Mm.
any chance? That's exactly what it would look like. Like if I was looking, like you were standing right in front of me, I would just go, somebody's there. Like I couldn't.
Huh.
There were no details. They were just like a blurry like outline of somebody, you know.
Jeez.
And at first I was like, I remember it was I was at a barbecue at my house and we were having a barbecue. My sister was over and I said, "Ah, my eyes like acted weird." And she's like, "Oh, it's probably just blurry vision. Whatever, get over
Yeah.
it." 2 days later, she's like, "I'm so
Yeah.
sorry."
Yeah. Yeah.
and and then after after a few days later, I'm like, okay, this is weird. I don't understand what's happening. So I went to that was like, oh my God, what a long fucking day that was.
I'm
I wound
sure.
up at a one of those like minute clinic like places, you know, those like,
Urgent care
uh
esque.
yeah, urgent
Hmm.
care. Yeah. I went in, told them what was going on. They're like, yeah, we can't, we're not equipped to like even tell you anywhere near what would be. So they sent me to Claremont's Hospital in Belleville,
Mm.
which I hate that hospital. That's for a few other reasons right now. But I went there and they I saw a doctor and they were examining me, and he's just like, I'm not totally sure what this is. We're gonna send you to a specialist. Mind you, this day started at 7 in the morning. Just keep that in
Woof.
mind.
Yeah. Woof.
So they sent me to this other specialist in Newark. Was there for a while. He's checking my eyes. He's doing all these tests, and he's like, after like an hour and a half there, he doesn't know what it is, and he's like, okay, we're gonna have to send you to University Hospital in Newark.
Wow.
And oh man, I remember like I got in the car and I called up my mom because she was like, what the fuck's going on? And I called her
Hmm.
up. I remember that moment. I'm just like, Mom, because I didn't know. There was no like, nobody knew because I had it in the back of my head because I just assumed this is where my brain goes, right? I just assumed like there's a brain tumor pressing against my eyeball right now.
Right?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
head exploded. Like I had no idea, right? And there's a history of that in my family too, so that's where I
So
feel.
definitely, yeah, that's where you're going.
And then I went to University Hospital. Uh, I picked up my mom. We went to the hospital together, and then we I was seeing this doctor. Went to they sent me to a neurologist, and this junior neurologist. He's doing this. It was just the most aggravating like examination I've ever been through because he's literally like the whole time he's like, and he's got like this thing like up in my eyeball, and he's like, look up. And I'm just standing there tearing, just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it was just so awkward and uncomfortable. And I hadn't eaten anything all day too. And at this
Oh, the
point, God, it was
worst.
like after 6, so it's just like this whole day of me just no idea. And finally they said you have to go get an MRI. So they sent me to my
Wow.
little like in between room and finally went for the MRI. And I that before that day, I used to have an eyebrow ring, but I had to take it out for the MRI, and then I lost it. No, just
Hmm.
never got another one. I was like, you know
Yep.
what? But got the MRI done. I'm like in a delirium at this point. I remember too, because for the MRI, which I'm sure you've had MRIs before,
Mm.
you can't move, right? And I remember this one point, I guess it was just a mix of hunger, exhaustion, and maybe dehydration and fear. And I just remember at one point it was going on. And it was like, ah! Like I started freaking the fuck out. And then they pulled me out and they're like, we're going to have to like
Today,
start again.
you.
I'm like,
Oh.
okay, I'm sorry. It's just been a long day, man. Then
Yeah.
I'll never forget. They take me back to my room. I'm out cold. And it must have been my phone was dead at this point, and I had no idea what time it was either. I'm like, where am I right
Yeah.
now? I feel like I'm in a
Right.
horror movie all of a sudden. I just went to the doctor because my eye
Yeah.
wasn't working. Next thing you know, it's like, fuck, is this Auschwitz? What the fuck? Anyway,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I get a knock on the door, and this guy who comes in, and he has like a thick, like I assume Russian, but like Eastern European at least accent. And he walks in and he's like holding the chart. And he's like, "Yes, Mr. Park. Yes, we've been going over your MRI results, and we are very confident that you have multiple sclerosis." Good
Woof.
night. I swear to God, he said good
Good
night. And then he just left. And I'm like, all right.
night.
I remember when he said that too. Like, I was thinking, like, because after he left, I'm there by myself. And I'm like, oh, I have multiple sclerosis. I wish my phone was on so I could look up what that
What the
is
fuck that
exactly.
is? Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, I know I heard of it before, but I had no idea what the hell that was. And
Right.
yeah, so that was the day. That started at 7 a.m. And then like about probably 2 in the morning, 2 or 3. It had to have been. I couldn't even tell you what time it was, but
Right.
then they kind of diagnosed me.
Oh my God. Such a long day. I'm glad that they sent you to the hospital though. Sometimes they're like, just feel it out. Like, see how you feel in a month. And you're just like, what?
Walk it off.
Yeah, right.
Walk it
Yeah,
off.
you'll be
And
fine.
that was the thing too. At university hospitals, I really like the hospital actually. I still go there for my regular visits with the neurologist. Um, actually, I actually kind of fucked up because I've been like so just distracted with so many things going on that I missed my last appointment, and I had to reschedule for another one, and uh, and the only available appointment they have is like in July. So
Ugh,
I know.
so
So
annoying.
that was such a that was that. God damn it. Okay. Luckily, my prescriptions for my medication, like I got to get it renewed every so often, for the
Yeah, yeah.
what I take. And
I
I mean,
know.
it's so funny. I've ever my parents have told me, like, this is what it's like when you get older. I'm like, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Now it's like I have to see. I went from like not caring
Yeah,
at
right.
all, like just like, yeah, whatever, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know,
No big deal.
to
Yeah.
now it's like just it's doctor after doctor, and it's such a, and I'm not complaining either. Like, as far as MS goes, as far as my MS goes, there are like symptoms and stuff that, I definitely notice that, and, over the, thinking about like history, like the years leading up to when I finally got diagnosed, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe that makes sense now. And, you know,
Mm.
but, I lost where I was going. I lost my train of thought, but I'm sorry, I have MS.
That's
Um,
okay.
I love using that. I love doing that. I do that around the house and stuff. I'll like be walking with something and I'll be like, I'll drop something by accident and I'll be like, oh, sorry. Duh.
MS, MS
Goddamn
life.
sclerosis. If only there was one of them.
Just so many. So
So many
multiple.
sclerosis. I remember after I got out of the hospital, I went back 2 weeks later for my first appointment with the doctor. And that whole time, I remember just being like, they're saying, you have lesions on your brain. We found lesions on my brain, right? And I remember going in and like, I had some questions, written out, like things I thought of while during the time. And I remember the first thing I asked the doctor, who's this like German lady, Dr. Hillam, very nice one. She's pretty like down to earth lady. That's
Mm.
what I like about her. I asked her, I said, so when you say I have multiple lesions on my brain, like what does that mean? Multiple can be two or like 2,000. Like I don't know what that
Right.
means, right? And she goes, "Oh, you have like less than 10." She literally said this. She goes, "Oh, you have like less than 10 lesions on your brain. You're fine." I was like,
Whoa.
"Oh, wow, less than 10? That's so what, like two?" Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
was
right.
literally the number two.
Wow.
Two lesions on the brain. But they didn't they because then I eventually, between then and like my last MRI, I had gotten an emergency one in between because I went to the one of my exams. I was talking to a different doctor because they're very like, you're lucky if you get this one or that one. It's, it's not, you don't see the same. I don't typically see the same doctor every single time.
Hmm.
Guess because of scheduling and stuff.
Mm.
But and it's always, the exams are always the same thing too. It's always I walk in and it's just like, okay, Mr. Park, does that feel the same on both sides? Yeah. Does that feel the same on both sides? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just go all the way
Pay
down
attention. Yeah.
my body. And then they do little reflex. It's just, just to see it. but I did complain about my left arm. Was like just like I'm just feeling numb, like or like I'm feeling a weird numbness sometimes and stuff. And I
Hmm.
said, look, I also, but at the time, I smoke all the time and I drink and I and I eat like
Right.
shit. I'm not really taking care of myself very well,
Right.
and so this could just be like your heart's like, hey, dude,
Stop. Yeah. Help
of being
me.
an asshole.
Yeah.
By the way, Dana, real quick, am I like swearing too much? Like,
No, no, it doesn't
no,
matter.
okay, I just don't. Yeah, um, and so they wanted to see if there was anything on my spine that might have just happened because I was complaining about the arm,
Mm.
and they did do a spine MRI or like my lower neck and like this area, and they found another few lesions, but they weren't new.
Oh,
They
so
weren't
they
like
just
they didn't just happen. They must have been from like the initial diagnosis or whatever.
right,
So yeah,
right.
but it's one of these things where it's like it's this, and lately I have been actively like I just finally like been doing really good. I quit smoking. I'm like really cutting
Congrats.
down on drinking and stuff, and
Nice.
trying to be more active because you know and when it first happened, obviously the depression,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you don't
Sinks
even,
right in. Yeah.
yeah, when I was already like, what's 2019? So I was already, what's that, 4 or 5 years ago? Yeah, I was like in my early 30s,
Hmm.
and I never had any issues really. The only issue I ever had was just something with my ankle that apparently I was born with a misshapen bone in my ankle. So if I stand on my feet for too long, it's like I can't walk for 2 days. Like it's just this horrible thing.
Damn.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And but other than that, I never really any real issues. And now it's like, it just still takes a lot of getting used to. It's
Mm.
weird. It's
Yeah,
weird
it
being
does.
like, you know, like I don't know about. I mean,
Changes.
I'm sure. God, I can't even imagine like with what you have and like what you've got to go through. Me, it's like I just like there's this thing that might be weird at some point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
really, that's because they said they caught it really early. I've been on this medication, and as
Okay.
far as I can tell,
It's working.
there's nothing wrong. I guess it's just like the luck of the thing. It's so funny because I won't say his name, but there's somebody, and I'll tell you afterwards, I guess. But somebody that you would know in the comedy community, like a week or two after I got out of the hospital, uh, this person asked me for a ride somewhere because his car got all fucked up and he's an idiot. You'll
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
oh, him, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember telling him about. He was like, oh, what happened? And I remember telling him like, oh, there's multiple sclerosis. It's really early, and it's not like that. It's nowhere advanced or anything. And hopefully, it'll be fine. And he just started going off about like, yeah, I don't know, man. I had an uncle who, he got diagnosed with it like 10 years later. He was in a wheelchair. He couldn't talk, couldn't change himself, couldn't blah, blah, blah. And I'm just driving the car like, great. That's
Cool.
really wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Love to
just
hear
what I
that.
want to hear about your fucking uncle who probably didn't take care of himself,
Right. It
but
was
that's
probably
that's
like
the
in his
thing.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah, and like he just,
I know.
but
People
there's
are.
a thing, same time when I got diagnosed and my sister called me up one night, we were talking and she was telling me too. She's like, Chris, it's really just it depends on, from person to person. She knew there somebody from her church, her mother was in her late 60s, had MS for like 40 years. And at the
Wow.
time, she was the head of a hospital. She ran a hospital. So
Wow.
like she's like, you can have MS your whole life. And it's really just it's a matter of taking care of yourself, at the
Yeah,
same
and
time.
it depends on, I mean, now of course there's so many like treatments and things like this that can help with
Hmm.
symptoms, I guess.
Hmm.
And but does it also, have they told you if it helps with the spread, or is it just like symptom space? So it like suppresses some of the symptoms you might have, or is it suppressing like
So
the
the medication I
growth?
take, I know from what I remember. Again, I haven't been to a neurologist in a while because my case is just so it's so not advanced that like they see me like once a year at this point.
That's
A little
great.
longer. It's a little yeah, and it's a little longer now because I fucking forgot to go to this appointment. But um, yeah, like I had an MRI done. My last one was like 3 years after my diagnosis. Yeah, about 3 years after the diagnosis, and they said there's been no new spreading or anything. So
Right.
it's hopefully this medication, from what I remember being told when my doctor first put me on it, it's like the lightest form of medication there is for MS. It's very, and she was actually trying to, one of the last times I went, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not too sure about this shot you're taking. It's a shot I have to take 3 times a week,
Okay.
3 injections." And don't ask me to pronounce it. I always forget the fucking
I
name. I
know.
just can't.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So many
Glutathione or
consonants
some shit.
together. Yeah.
I don't even try anymore. I
Yeah.
take a shot. If the doctor asked me, I said it's on the chart. You fucking
Exactly.
look at
Yeah. Just read. Do your
it.
job.
The chart's just it's the chart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was saying that she wasn't too sure about this medication. She might want to move to something else. Blah blah blah. And then she got the MRI results back, and she was like, "Oh, you're fine. Guess it's working. Just fuck it." She literally was like, "Hey, broke. Let's not fix it."
Oh,
I was like,
fine. Yeah. Fine by
"Cool."
me.
So I've just been sticking with this for a while, and yeah, So
Great.
hopefully
That,
it
that's
stays the same.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's like so great that you caught it early, obviously. Like that's a huge factor in it not, really affecting. But so is your vision better or is it still the same?
Oh, vision went back. They gave me steroids.
Wow.
When I was in the hospital, they put me on an IV, and then they gave me steroids to take home.
Okay.
But those were done within a few days. And then it took like several weeks for it to really like get
Take
back
them.
to normal. But
Mm,
my vision went right back to. It was just the nerve was just inflamed, the optic
right.
nerve. Yeah, but that's like they were telling me too. It's very common. It's a very common first sign of MS, my case of
Vision.
MS. So yeah.
Yeah, in the brain. Interesting. That's great though. I'm so glad that it was, fixed and you have minimal lesions and things like this.
Hmm.
When you go to the doctor, is there anything that you specifically try to ask them or tell them like when you go? Do you like line up
Um,
questions beforehand, sort of thing?
no, no. I to be honest,
Mhm.
like I can't, I don't like it. Nobody likes it, but I mean, I just sit there. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I'm fine.
Right,
I'm fine.
right. Yep.
And then they want to ask me everything, and then one of the last doctors I saw was like, "Are you do you want vitamin D medication, a vitamin D3 medication, and
Mm,
like a prescription for it?" I said, yeah, I guess. I don't
sure.
know.
Yeah, vitamins, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah.
doc, you tell me. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm a comedian and I drive for Uber. I don't know if I
Right.
maybe just stand in the sun more. I don't know.
Right.
I tell you, it's one thing about University Hospital when I was there for a few days. It's attached to Rutgers Medical University, right? So they're
Okay.
a medical school, and it's just. Have you ever been in a hospital that's a medical school as well, or attached to one?
I've had like some students come in with the doctor
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
You get like
check out.
parades of them. I got parades of like
They're all
every
just
time the
staring at
doctor.
you.
There's like 6 or 7 like just with little notebooks,
Yep.
just watching like what's going on, and they're like, "How's this feel?"
Yeah.
I tell you, like that's why I remember every time I go to the neurologist, I'm just like, "Can we get this fucking part over with
I
like as
know.
quickly as possible?" They
Just do
just
your
like,
touching.
does this feel well? I'm like, "Hey, lady, watch the."
Yeah. Yeah. Watch the body. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. Watch your hands there, pal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Yes. It feels the same on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I did. I've had to have a couple nerve testings. I had a whole bunch of shit, but I was on gabapentin for a little bit, and they did those like tests with me to like see if I could feel everything. I also went for this one test at one point. I forget what I was trying to figure out, but they put something like on my skin and like parts of my body, and then it would like shock. my skin to make sure, or like my nerves to make sure that they were all working and I could feel them. So it was just like a little bit of like stings all over. I was like, what is this torture you're doing to me? Why are you
It's
doing this?
science. Shut up.
Yeah, we're testing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want it.
There are a lot of guys out there who pay big money to get that done to them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And yeah, you know what? And it just kind of hit me recently because you know, especially like I think it's also weird, like, because I've been getting more, trying to get more in tune with the universe kind of thing. Like I've been going on this whole weird like little journey of mine,
You have
and it's so weird.
crystals.
Like I've been thinking, yeah, yeah, I'm one bad day away from getting let's put it that way. But uh it was so interesting because I've been thinking about like quitting smoking and like cutting back on the drinking and like all this stuff and trying to like eat better because of the MS. And then you hit me up like, hey, do you want to do this podcast about your like, yes I do, yes I do.
I do want to check in. Yeah.
I do want to check. Oh God, what have
I
I done?
know. I know.
I
I've
tell you,
been
I don't
trying to
know.
do that.
Yeah, just watching more of the like, I guess like your health, keep more on it.
Yeah. It
It's
sucks
it's
though. I don't like
Of
it.
course it sucks. Of course it fucking sucks. It'd be great if we were just like,
It's
whatever.
fine. Yeah.
Let's go do drugs and get hammered and eat a lot of Big Macs and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
who
was what
cares?
I was like. I mean, I got diagnosed at 22, so I was like that. I was like, fuck it, and then depression, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I hate it, whatever. It doesn't even exist. Let me just fuck up my body more. And then I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. It's not
You
fun.
gotta, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta make a choice. You gotta
I
make a
know.
decision. Like, what kind of life do you want to live? Sure, you can go off and do whatever the fuck you want, but
Right.
there are
Yeah,
consequences to that.
exactly. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I don't know about you, but I get these from my regular doctor. I get these like monthly wellness checks
Hmm.
calls. My house, the doctor recommended it. It's literally, and it's always at the worst time. Like
Yeah.
I'm in a rush or I gotta do something or like there's no time, and they call
Mhm.
like, "Hey Chris, we're just calling for your monthly wellness check. You have some time to answer a few questions?" Like, yeah, sure. And it's always just, do you feel really depressed? Oh, more than usual. you
Yeah.
know? Okay. Have you thought about like they literally ask you things like, have you thought about killing yourself recently?
Hmm.
And I said, not till the last minute from now. Like not till
Yeah.
it's just I'm getting so sick of the wellness checks. Like I'm fine.
I know. Yeah. And then if honestly, like answering those honestly can sometimes be a little bit slippery. Like there's
Mm.
this like Reddit thread that I was going through and they were talking about like, do you answer those honestly? Because I did, and then I got like a psych evaluation, like they thought they like did all this shit. And like sometimes, especially when you're faced with like a chronic illness or like a life-threatening disease, you're just like, yeah, of course I'm fucking depressed. Of course this sucks. Like, come on. All
Gray skies
rainbows.
gonna clear up, put on a happy face. Like they fucking break. Like even if I didn't have anything wrong, yeah, I'm just stressed. We're
Exactly.
alive.
Exactly.
I
Look at
don't
this
know why.
world. Yeah.
We're just, it's the human condition. This just adds to it. It
Yep.
just adds
Oh yeah.
it's the fear. It's the fear of because even though I mean nobody knows what the fuck's gonna happen to them, right? Nobody knows. We're all victim to our situation, whatever it is. That's just being alive.
Right.
Nobody knows. You could be the healthiest person your whole fucking life, and you took perfect care of yourself, and then at 60, you get hit by a bus. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Or even younger. It's fucking who knows. It's all a crapshoot. That's why, like, I'm trying to take better care of myself and make better decisions. But at the end of the day, I also don't want to like obsess over it either.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember this from it's like I think it was in a George Carlin like one of George Carlin's books, and it was like I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something like where he was like listing off of like a bunch of fake self-help books, like titles and stuff. Here's the newest book, Eat Right, Exercise, Live a Long Life, and Die Anyway. like, it's just, like it's just
Yeah.
That's my mentality. It's like, but I want to. I mean, also, I mean, I want to also not be foolish either. The whole fucking whenever somebody for any reason when this conversation comes up, people love to bring up you know, uh, oh well, Chris, you don't want to wind up in a wheelchair. You have to take care of yourself. You don't wind up with that. That shit fucks with me. I'll
Yeah.
admit, it fucks with me. I don't want to wind up in a wheelchair. And sometimes like my legs will feel a little stiff. They're like, oh, here it comes. This is it.
I
This is
know.
it. But then I'm also like, well, so I don't stretch and exercise at all. So it's probably part of it too.
This part, I know. So actually, so after you got diagnosed, were you thinking about doing any comedy with your diagnosis, or was it like you were doing, how long were you doing comedy before you got diagnosed?
Let's see. I mean, I was doing it on and off for several years. I was so delusional, like in my mid 20s, because I go to one mic every week in Bloomfield. Used to be at this old bar called Pianos.
Oh,
It's like a Mexican restaurant now, but it used to be like this little like jazzy little fucking bar called Pianos. I really liked it. Do you know Matt Kelly? He's not really active anymore. I think he is, but I'm not that sure. But very funny dude. And it's one of the first mics I used to go to a lot, and he used to run it there. And I used to go to that mic every week. And I did okay for an open mic at some shitty bar on a Wednesday. But I was so delusional. I was like, yeah, I'm doing comedy. Like I had
yeah.
no fucking idea what I was doing. And then it took several years. I would dabble here and there. And then finally, my friend Bo, he just like said, "Dude, this is what you want to do. Fucking start doing it." So we were doing that. Well, we were running City Lounge for a while. That we started running City Lounge when I was only about like 4 or 5 months, really doing it somewhat regularly.
Wow.
Going to mics like regularly and getting like, understanding like, the grind and what this is. And it's not something that I tried like that whole thing about the day I got diagnosed I was talking about before. I tried to make that into like a bit,
Hmm.
and I'm sure eventually I'll do more about it, but honestly it's not. I feel like if it was something that was really like a daily issue I had to deal with all the time, it's like, oh, my MS, excuse me.
Right, right.
It's really not. It's like sometimes a lot of time I'm like, that's the farthest thing from my mind because I've got like so many other
Yeah.
things. So that's good. Obviously, it's not something that seems like, um, is pressing down on me or like holding me back, but it is also in the back of my mind. And like I said, this recent like screw up with not going to the doctor, and now I can't see them until July.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, I can get a redo because I only got 2 more prescriptions left until then. So I'm gonna miss out on my prescriptions for June if I don't see it.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So learn my lesson. Don't miss your doctor's appointment.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It's hard though. You're doing so much shit, and like when it isn't something that's like always on your mind, like you're saying, it's easy
mhm.
to just forget about it. You have a lot going on, everyone
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
People
yeah.
got a lot of
It's
shit
just
going on, and
but
it's easy to forget, but it's also, like that's a great reason why it doesn't like affect your comedy because it's not a prevalent,
mhm,
everyday thing. I feel
mhm.
like I tried to, not do a lot of the like cancer stuff because hey, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Who knew? Who knew people
Oh
didn't
no,
give
I
a shit
think I
about
mean,
that?
I mean, at the end of the day, Data, do what you want, but I always, and I gotta say this, and I'm not just buttering you up, uh, because you had me on your podcast. No, for real, I've always been very impressed by like your ability to do what you do with your
Thanks.
material and that issue. Absolutely.
I appreciate it because, like, it is like, it is just like part of my everyday. Like, it is something that has come up, or like, it relates to, or it's just like, it is kind of always on my mind. So whether it's like the pills I take or like whatever, I go to the doctor. Some lady yells at me about dyeing my hair. She died some lady yelled at me today. She was just like, you really shouldn't have dyed your hair. And I was like, well, too fucking late. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, also, you're not my
Why?
doctor. Like, you're a
Your
random
doctor said
nurse.
that?
No, a random nurse. And I was like, this was not helpful at all.
Yeah.
So,
What lady? What do you think it's going to give you more cancer? Like,
yeah,
what's your fucking?
I know. I was like, honestly, the drugs that I'm taking now are probably a little bit more intense than the bleach that's on my hair. So
This is
let's
a pink hair dye.
take it down a notch. Like,
And
but yeah, people always say some
everybody's
dumb
got
shit.
the stupidest fucking comments, man.
I know.
People say the stupidest shit, and they think they're like being helpful. Like,
I know. Has anyone ever given you some like weird cure if they talk to you about like MS or something like that?
um, not particularly. I mean, I remember people telling me like, they knew somebody who's wrongfully diagnosed with MS, and they
Mm,
were taking like some hardcore drugs, and it fucked them up because they didn't have MS. So,
yeah,
but
that's fucked.
yeah, and I mean, any advice I can recall is all just like, well, just like exercise and don't eat like an idiot, shit like that.
Yeah.
Don't do cocaine. Well, that's just you fucked it
Sorry.
all up there. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
There's just some things I'm not willing to give up.
Yeah.
No,
Cannot.
but
Yeah.
I tell you though, more and also too, it's part of getting older. Like I said, it's just like I'm okay with, I'd rather go out and, just hang out and see a movie and not fucking party and shit like I used to. It's just getting
Yeah.
too tired. I keep it
Yeah.
like once in a while. I'll like, fuck it. I don't drink that much anymore, and it just trying to take better care of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you can
And
do.
I actually just started seeing a therapist, so that's
Nice.
cool. Yeah, and she already put me on bupropion.
Oh, the name of the medication? Yeah, fuck that.
Bupropion. That's not how you say it either. I don't know.
Something similar.
Whatever. It's like a mild antidepressant. I mean, it's something that they give people who are trying to quit cigarettes. Not that that's what I needed it for,
Huh.
but it's something that they give people to like help them, like like it's a very light thing. But
Okay. That
just give
makes
it a
sense
shot, and
then.
I'm
Yeah.
already feeling better. I'm already unless I'm just placeboing myself. you
Yeah,
know,
could be that too. I
and
mean,
then
a lot of people have like a diversion to depressants, but if it helps, it helps, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
See what happens, and but it's just the therapy thing. I think it's something that was suggested to me by one of the doctors I saw at the neurology department. But I at the time I'm like, I'm Irish, fuck off, like
right, right.
but now I'm like, no, I think it's something, and it's not just the MS that I gotta deal with. It's just life,
Life,
So
exactly.
it
Yeah.
can't hurt.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, of
Mhm.
course. I mean, I didn't have my first it was finding a therapist and then it was like once I found one, I was like, you're not leaving. Like I'm staying with you. Because it
You're not going
sucks to
anywhere.
right, it sucks to try to
Yeah.
find one. So if you found someone that you like,
Mhm.
it's nice
Well,
because
yeah, I had one appointment with her so far, so we'll see what happens.
yeah, because sometimes
Yeah,
you talk to your friends and then they get burnt out on it. They're like, okay, we get it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, yeah, you're fucking sad and you're being like a huge fucking bummer. Like we're
yeah,
trying to have fun.
yeah,
Sorry for you,
yeah.
but
Let's try to have fun. And you're like, what is no, I cannot.
but when since when? Since when are
Yeah,
we allowed to do that?
right. But so with all your diagnosis and everything like that, do you find that you can still be positive in like your living situation day to day
Yeah,
overall?
yeah. I don't really like I said, it's most of the time it's the farthest thing from my life.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not something like I said, every once in a while I do notice, because one of the a symptom of it is you can just have random, just like you just have no energy, you just have nothing. They just
Zapped.
can't barely do anything, and that happens from time to time. Like I said, sometimes they say it's a common thing too. My the my legs sometimes will be a little sore, like for no reason. It's like I
Mm,
wasn't doing anything. And just
right.
it'll just be it's just the overall weakness and sluggishness. And I was actually listening to your last episode with Brittany. Was that her
Yeah.
name? Yeah,
Hmm.
I was just listening to that, and she said something about she is it was about her multiple sclerosis too, and she said something about how she like pees herself sometimes or whatever. Like she was
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry for bringing that up. Uh,
No. Yeah.
big fan, Brittany. No,
Right.
but and then I was listening to that, like, oh, I didn't know that. Nobody told me that was a thing. And then I looked it up, like, oh yeah, that is like a thing. I'm like, oh, so that's why I have to pee all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I'm like, oh, maybe. I've also, jokingly for years, have always said I just have a small bladder. I have a tiny little
Yeah.
bladder.
That
I
could
have
be
one
it.
sip of something, and I gotta go.
You're like, it's done. Oh man. Well, I'm so happy that you were able to jump on and talk a little bit about, what you go through. And I'm so happy to hear that it's really like something that is well managed and, it's not affecting you on a daily basis to an extent in which you can't like do your daily chores or
Mhm.
activities.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, yes. I'm
Yeah.
pretty. I consider myself pretty lucky as far as you know being diagnosed with something. Not that this will be the only thing that's possible. You never know.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It does
so
end
far
up
it's
being a slippery slope sometimes, but hey,
mhm, yeah. Just gotta fucking keep living, man. What the fuck's the point?
exactly.
What else is there
Yeah.
to do?
Yeah. Nothing.
Nothing.
People, that was Chris Park. If you didn't know, that was Chris slash Park. Parking with Chris. Chris Park. Don't forget it. If you're in Northern New Jersey, hit him up for some comedy shows to hang out, talk about being chronically tired and ill. No, no. Wouldn't that be amazing if that was the only thing that we talked about? But it is like once you find someone that is going through a similar situation, you're like, I can't talk about this with anyone else. Like, let's chit chat about all the aches and pains in my life, and you won't judge me or make it feel weird. So let's continue to do that on Still Positive. Coming back monthly with this show. So make sure to like and subscribe and do all of the fun things. Follow Chris in the show notes below. Follow this podcast. Share it with someone else who has MS or knows someone with MS or anyone that you think might like it. So enjoy and stay safe.